Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Blue Dragon 5 here with another wonderful installment of Disney Debates. Tonight's roster bolsters the following topics. Which Disney character would make the best podcaster? Questions along with, what pan-Disney film doesn't deserve all the hate? And lastly, best Disney attraction post-1969, and a slew of speed round questions. Surprises at every corner, every turn, you name it. So, without further delay, let's meet our challengers this evening. In this corner, it's the Polynesian powerhouse himself. Welcome, Tiki!
They all float.
And in this corner, it's every Disney lawyer's worst nightmare come true. It's the SandyClaws.
Beep, beep, Richie.
And in this corner, boy, has he been hidden the Szechuan sauce, it's Jacob Wile.
Have you ever had that sauce? It's delicious.
How we doing, fellas?
I think we can all agree we're all excited about it. Just a little bit.
They all float down here.
I'm excited for Szechuan sauce.
Yeah, Rick and Morty, except for the return of Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty should do an It episode at some point this season.
I finally understood what you meant by "look at him go."
Look at him go.
I finally got it.
Look at him go. All right. So, a little refresher for the folks out there with Disney Debates. Just kind of going over the rules real quick, so we just jump right into it. Okay, folks, you got 3 rounds, 3 questions. If everyone gets 1 point, if it's a tie or one person gets all 3 points, we go into the break glass in case of emergency question.
The purple rock of death?
No, never again. Never.
If it comes to a tie, I'll Sandy immediately.
Anyway, so let's see. Of course, folks, in terms of structure, it's very simple. We're going to have the opening statement. We're all going to go around, establish our picks, then we'll go around again with the opening statement, and then we will just have the battle royale. The fight, just fight it out, that type of thing. You course, a lot of tension in the air of oh boy, when's he going to call it? When's he going to call it? No closing statements. I got to make it good in the fight. A lot of swirling emotions during the heat of battle. You know how it goes. Of course, when you hear this sound, my little co-host buddy here, that means I've heard enough. No more bets. It's over. Then I will proceed to call it, etc., etc. You gentlemen understand these rules as I have explained them to you here this evening.
Oh, yeah!
I need verbal confirmation for everyone. Jacob?
I said yes.
Sandy?
Maybe.
Okay, let's go through it again.
No, yeah.
All right.
Okay, randomizer.
Yes, onto the randomizer, folks. Alphabetical order, of course, is completely random.
Now, which one are you doing first? Ride or movie or?
No. We're doing podcaster, then movie, then ride.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cue the randomizer.
Well, explain the randomizer.
Oh, sure. Yes, folks. So just to make sure everything's fair and establish the order of the evening. Once this order is compiled, we're sticking it for the duration of the events. So, of course, we're in alphabetical order. We got Jacob, Sandy, Tiki. And once they're shuffled around, we're going to put down that order, and we're going to go with it for this evening. We're going to go around, everyone announcing their picks in that order. So,
all right, let's do it. Oh.
Okay.
You know what? I'm so confident about my picks, I was actually hoping to go first.
Okay, so let's just establish it here for the folks at home to follow. That is, tonight's order is Jacob, Sandy, then Tiki.
All right.
Oh boy.
All right.
That's the...
Sorry, Jacob.
That's fine.
That's your... Okay, so ready for question number 1, boys?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 1. Which Disney character would make the best podcaster? Now I'm going to give you a little...
Okay.
So I'm just going to give a hint just to help you guys out in your argument. Here's the kind of the stuff I'm looking for. Again, I'm not saying you necessarily have to include this, but it would help. And these kind of the things I'm listening for. Last one would be the most important. So, of course, like an example, maybe a few examples of what content this character could present. Kind of what kind of chemistry they'd have. What life experience would they bring. But the most important question I really want you guys to focus on is, why should I listen to their podcast? Why should I listen to whatever podcast this selected character would have over the other ones? That's the main thing I want you guys to hit in your arguments. Okay, Jacob, share which of your characters.
For mine, the podcaster I picked would be Genie from Aladdin.
Okay, Genie from Aladdin. All right, Sandy.
All right.
Cusco from The Emperor's New Groove.
Okay.
Tiki. And I'm doing Maui from Moana.
All right. Wowie, it's Maui. Okay. All right. Opening statement. Jacob.
Genie would be an interesting person to listen to as a podcast. I mean, he's funny. He can think on the fly. He's knowledgeable in everything. Knowledgeable in every pop culture. And he's able to be serious when he needs to be. He always gives it. Here's the thing. He always gives. He's basically the friend you can count on. We've never had a friend like him, after all. He can be well versed in all kinds of topics. Being serious, being funny. He can think on the fly. He can do pretty much anything he can to keep the viewer, the listener, entertained.
Okay. Sandy.
I picked Cusco. Cusco, he says his mind and maintains a strong and steady conversation, even when he's on the brink of being turned into a talking llama, having a one-on-one chat with someone who he had just fired. His conversation skills they're just fantastic. He's slow and steady. He's laid back and cool. Even when he's angry or annoyed, he's relatively laid back. Really, there are the annoying, won't stop talking people of the world, and then there are the Cuscos, who are enjoyable to listen to all around. I personally can't get enough of his dialogue when I'm watching the film. Every time, it explains itself quite efficiently. It's just, I wish I had his conversation maintaining skills. I really do.
Okay, Tiki.
All right, so if you're looking for a good podcaster, you're looking for someone who's going to be consistent. And consistency is Maui's middle name. The guy is charming as hell. He's been around for centuries. He's got so many stories to tell. He's a god, so he's not an emperor, Sandy. He's a god. And overall, he's just a super likable, charming guy who's going to be able to hold a conversation, who's going to be able to be consistently charming, smart, and funny. And that's all the qualities you look for in a podcaster. Someone you can listen to over and over again and be charmed by what they have to say.
All right, men, try to kill each other.
Well, Tiki,
Wow.
Maui, I personally don't like Maui really at all. I think he's full of himself. Yes, he can.
Oh, you want to talk about full of himself? You want to talk about full of himself, Sandy? Let's just stop that argument right there. All right, look who you're talking
Maui is
about.
Focused, but he is dead centered on. He has a dead center focus on his own character, and sure, he might be a quote unquote god, but he's nothing without his little fishhook of destiny or whatever.
And technically, he's a demigod.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think this battle's all about personality, really, though. And like I said, I think Maui is going to be the one to bring it. Here's the thing with Genie. Let's just bring Genie back around to the table. Now, there was one of my favorite arguments, one that Sandy won in a very unconventional way, was what Disney character would you like to party with on New Year's Eve? And the Genie was part of this conversation. Jacob, I believe you actually have the Genie. And the arguments thrown against the Genie there, I'm going to use here, all right? The Genie is a sad, pathetic little man who's just in the corner telling jokes, and he's just like, are you really just going to listen to a whole podcast about just someone, like, just going off and telling dated pop culture references and improvising? And
That sounds awful lot like you, Tiki.
Okay, hold on 1 second, real quick.
Shots fired there.
I gotta clarify this before Tiki strikes back. So, Tiki, did Jacob say that against the genie, or he say that, or someone else?
No. I believe that Sandy was mostly saying this against the genie.
Okay, I just want to clarify.
Yeah, I was hosting this one.
All right.
Dragon, I believe you had Frozone, and Sandy won in a very unconventional way using Donald Duck.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I just think that Genie, at the end of the day, his shit gets really old. I mean, he's a good side character, but I don't think, like, I believe there were rumors that they were going to do a live-action Genie movie, like a Genie origin movie, and Disney probably smartly shoved that aside because you don't want the Genie in a starring focus. He really is just a good spice into a movie. Because, like I said, really, the range of what the Genie provides is really kind of limited to just, like, oh, look, I'm going to do a joke, and then I'm going to do another joke. Oh, look at me. Joke, jokety, joke. Joke, improv joke, another improv joke. And sure, that might be fun. And for the record, Jacob, I would be more like Maui because I'm the charming personality who's going to be consistent in their delivery.
Maui's the self-centered, egotistical prig who's basically sums it up. Without my hook, I am nothing. All he basically do is like say, "Oh, look at my hook, is great, and it makes me great. Look how awesome I am."
You see, I don't think that's true at all because, like I said, Maui has been through so many adventures and so many quests, and for a long time, Maui lost the hook, and so his personality
and the entire time before he lost the hook, he was stranded on an island.
Yeah, for like over 1,000 years. This goes to show you how incompetent he is. He made so many dumb decisions. He ended up on a dumb island.
He's the one who doomed humanity after all.
All right, but we're not talking...
Even after he was rescued, he still hesitated and refused to go back and make things right.
Okay, let's hear some stuff about Cusco.
You can't have someone running a podcast who doesn't want to make things right.
Yeah, what about somebody who almost let a peasant fall off a bridge?
Yeah, Cusco, it's like, look, we're all throwing these lobs against Maui when Maui is just a genuinely nice guy who kind of screwed up his job. Cusco is an egotistical dick who's borderline, he's borderline genocidal with what he wants to do, all right? He wants to clear out an entire village for a resort, all right? That is not a good person. That is not a good person at all.
Maybe this is post-movie Cusco. And he's a good person.
Okay, so yeah, if you're going to make that argument for post-movie, then you can make the same argument for post-movie Maui. Maui certainly went through an arc in Moana. So I think that kind of throws everything off the table. So I don't know, but Cusco, I just think Maui's... Like, Maui he's had a long time to focus on himself as a person, to get in touch with his inner self. Whereas Cusco just, he's a spoiled brat, and he's going to drive the podcast into the ground. You can't tell me that Cusco isn't going to take every promotional deal that comes his way. What's the most annoying thing that we have when listening to podcasts? Ads. Just straight up ads. Do you think Maui's going to care about ads? No, because Maui's a demigod. He's just a chill guy who can get by on his personality, but Cusco is going to fund every... So basically, listening to the Cusco podcast is going to be Cusco feeding his own ego, and then also, ads probably about Cuscotopia and everything else. It'd be a nightmare to listen to.
Okay, so you see, everyone, see how Tiki has this lovely title card thumbnail up on the screen here? Okay, if Maui were the host of this podcast here, then it'd just be a picture of his hook because he's so dang proud of his hook. His dumb hook that turns him into a shark human thing.
I don't know why we're all hung up on the hook when literally I'm the only one making arguments about the character's personality, and that's what this whole thing's about.
This would basically be a podcast hosted by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. That's basically what it is.
And you're saying that's a bad thing?
Hey.
Yes.
Okay, I've heard enough. All right. Okay, let's start with Jacob. All right, Jacob. Okay. So I think you opened very strong with you listening to all the Genius Claws. Really, I think you Let me say this. I think you and Sandy had the strongest opening arguments. I'll say that much. Not the opening. Sorry, the opening statement. I don't want to jump into the fight. Also. But, the opening statements. I think you two kind of started strongest there. I think Jacob had a lot more specificity. I really did appreciate that. So I think he had his bases covered in the beginning. However, something that I really didn't get enough from you and Sandy. Again, you two are kind of similar in this. I feel, well, Jacob, I feel you made some really great points against Tiki's, and I want to highlight that. I think, Jacob, you you're really, in terms of kind of I think you attacked better than you defended. That's where I'm coming down on you, Jacob. I think you had like a good base to start with, and you took some really good shots, but I think you left your knees. All right, moving on to the Sandman. Okay, Sandy. So Sandy, I think, honestly, I think he had the strongest pick. I want to make that just right from the get-go. I think he had the strongest pick and the most potential. Now, and I think he also had a really strong opening, kind of speaking to, he's really impassioned about how, the qualities he admired about Cusco, if he were kind of in the podcaster shoes, and kind of, just all the qualities you like about the Cusco character, and all the kind of the appealing qualities, and kind of molding that into the argument, which, again, I thought was really strong. But really, again, excellent, strong opening. Again, really kind of defending that character really well in the beginning. However, again, as it went on, shots were taken against Cusco. I'm not hearing anything back. Again, I'm hearing more attack than defense, guys. You need some defense in there. And I will say this, though, again, Sandy, I think Sandy and Jacob tag team Tiki, and again, they took some really good shots against Maui, but there was a...
But unlike the Launchpad McQuack thing, I didn't back down.
Right. That's true. Okay. Let's get to Tiki. So Tiki. So I think you started sparingly with Maui. I get a sense that wasn't strategic. I don't know. I think it was a little sparing in the beginning.
Saying nothing.
All right. I'm not saying what you said was again, it was fine. I'm just saying it wasn't as in depth as the other two, and I think it was surface, and I feel that was kind of a problem with the opening statement. It's nothing critical. I'm just saying I think it would have been better, essentially. I think while shots were taken at Maui, and the hook thing, again, I think the initial shots were really detrimental to Maui, and it made me lean towards the other ones. However, the thing I'm gonna highlight Tiki for is that he did stand his ground, and in the face of that, he did the one thing no one else did. He took shots at all the others. He took he took very good shots at the other ones, and essentially he took down the other two, the other two characters. Again, he really could have bounced back with. Honestly, had Tiki not mentioned the fact that Maui he got by without the hook for a while, had he not mentioned that, I would have weighed the other way. But the fact that he covered that, and just in the midst of it, he actually took down the other two, and the other two didn't really have anything to say to defend theirs. Tiki gets the first point.
Woo!
But it was close, guys. Again, defense. So you guys could have had.
Like my argument about Cusco and the ads, because I came up with that on the fly. I was really proud of that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. Again, Sandy was going to win this match, but then again, I didn't hear enough defending Cusco. I didn't hear anything that Sandy didn't come back from that. Had he done that, I think Sandy would have won.
All right. Yeah, good job, Sandy.
So again, good fight, but again, defense.
Oh boy.
Yeah, congratulations, Tiki.
Thank you.
Okay, round two. Which critically panned Disney film doesn't deserve all the hate? Now, here's what I'm looking for on this, all right? So, basically so the audience knows, the qualifier for this was under 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. And importantly, the one thing specified in your arguments, guys, is I don't want you to use the Rotten Tomato thing in your argument. All right, I don't want to hear you guys say like, "Oh, mine's like a little lower, a little higher than yours."
I agree for sure.
I don't want to hear any of that. And the minute I do, that person, they're out.
Ooh.
Okay.
What was it again? I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Okay. So the I don't want to hear anyone use the Rotten Tomato thing in their arguments. So Gar says, for the folks out there, the qualifier for this was a movie under 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. So any Disney film under the Disney banner in some way, shape, or form under 60%.
That's theatrically released. Important.
That is theatrically released. So no direct-to-video sequels were on this. Yeah, it would have been hunting season, essentially. But
Right,
anyway,
right.
so under 60%, that's what the qualifier is. So the 3 picks here are under 60% on Disney theatrical release. And importantly, I do not want to hear that percentage, like a number of percentage from Rotten Tomatoes being used in this argument by anyone. If so, then you're out of the round.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, let's go around. Jacob, share to the nice folks out there what you picked.
I picked Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Atlantis. Okay, Sandy.
I picked Underdog.
Underdog. Okay.
The time has finally come. I am going to defend the hell out of Home on the Range. Oh man, I am so ready for this.
You know, I feel so stupid. I wrote the lyrics to the song first.
The Underdog theme song?
No. But that would have been more hilarious. But I wrote home on the Range.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So now we're gonna go around with the opening statements. Jacob, hit us.
All right, my pick was Atlantis: The Lost Empire. Atlantis: The Lost Empire is a vastly underappreciated gem from the 2000s era. You're boasting a creative concept that used Atlantis in a very interesting way. Had very good production, and production quality is top notch as well. I mean, like a seamless blend of CGI and 2D animation. The character design and design of everything in general was top notch. I mean, Mike Mignola of Hellboy designed a lot of the characters. The characters themselves are very likable and well fleshed out. And the cast members themselves are very well utilized for their parts.
Okay, all right. Okay, Sandy.
Well, Underdog. It's the underdog story of an underdog. That's what it is. It's not a poorly directed film or a poorly made film. I mean, it stars Peter Dinklage and Patrick Warburton, some of the best talent in the industry. Not to mention Jason Lee, a.k.a. Syndrome from The Incredibles, as underdog himself. Now, just how can you beat that? It's Dave from Alvin and the Chipmunks voicing a half-animated, half-CGI beagle. It's just pure underrated Disney magic right before your eyes. And it's just got a big flat. I can't believe it.
Oh God!
All right.
I just want to point out that I actually did sit down and watch Underdog today, so I'm not just winging it.
I know.
I had to watch all 3.
Okay.
All right.
So now I think the important wording on this question is underappreciated. And by that argument, really, I think that Atlantis is appreciated by a lot of people. You know what movie isn't appreciated by a lot of people? Home on the Range. This movie has received so much hate, so much vile, that even Doug Walker, the king of kind of like defending underrated Disney movies like The Rescuers Down Under, hates this movie. And it's not one of the best Disney movies, but I don't think it ever tried to be. And I think this movie has going for it a lot of things. It's got really, really good music. It's got a lot of charm. It's got great 2D Disney animation. It's got a really cool psychedelic scene straight out of Pink Elephants. It's got a fun villain voiced by Randy Quaid. It's got a really good, likable cast of characters. Yes, even the Roseanne cow has a really good, tragic backstory to her. And I think all around, while it might not be the perfect movie or something to the quality of the Disney Renaissance, it certainly doesn't deserve the title of like the worst Disney film ever. And that's it.
Okay, one last thing I'm going to stress to you guys to help you out in the fight here, and then we'll just get things started real quick, just with the wording of the question very specifically. Which critically panned Disney film doesn't deserve the hate? So again, just which one doesn't deserve the hate? So that's the main, again, like basically why does it not deserve all the hate? All the hate directed towards it, either by the audiences, by the critics, by whoever hates it. So again, that's the I want to remind everyone to really highlight in the fight here. Okay.
Faux show.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, play that.
All right, well, as I said, I think that Home on the Range is definitely the big underdog of this competition, pun intended. And I think that for good reason, because like I said, it's definitely sort of just gotten heaps and heaps of criticism lobbed upon it. But to me, like I said, this is why I'm kind of choosing it, to really defend it and really prop it up, because I think Home on the Range has a great cast of 3 main characters, and it's also got a strong kind of female leads. It's got Judi Dench, it's got Roseanne Barr, and it's got Jennifer Tilly as 3 really dynamic personalities that really play well off each other. And yes, Roseanne Barr, I'm sick of hearing the argument like, whatever happened to Roseanne Barr being like one of the most lovable sitcom personalities and one of the most lovable comedians. I mean, I'm sick of hearing the Roseanne Barr being the cow argument. Now, as for Underdog, I mean, look, Sandy, I'm sorry. I enjoy your passion, okay? I enjoy your passion, but this movie is a train wreck, and sure, I will admit that Peter Dinklage and Patrick Warburton, good, sure, of course, they're fun. They're going to elevate anything they're in, but I think the rest of the movie around it is just awful. It truly is. It honestly has some of the worst like teenage acting I've ever seen. It's got a really, really forced love interest whose literally only motivation and only character is to just be saved over and over again. Jason Lee, I mean, you kind of made my argument for me with the whole like Dave from Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yeah, not the best credit to source there, buddy. He's obnoxious and annoying throughout the whole thing. It's got the look and budget of a TV movie. It's got just the corniest, sappiest score to it. It's got a really, really forced family message. It's just overall a pain to watch. And like it's a type of movie where it's like I feel embarrassed for Patrick Warburton and Peter Dinklage because they're giving it their all, but everything around it is just not good.
All right, let me just say this, okay? Let me just say this. I know.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the point of my whole opening argument. It's just trashing the film.
Then why did you? Then
Wait,
why did you choose
what?
it? Why did you choose it then?
Let's
you
just
chose
say
them.
my options were scarce.
Yeah, we gave you a whole bunch of options. Okay.
I'm sorry,
Seriously?
Sandy, are you
Showbiz.
forfeiting?
Yes, I am.
No, Sandy, really?
Are you sure?
Hey, come on, at least go for a whole.
Yeah,
so bad.
come on, Sandy. Come on. You had passion in the beginning. Come on, don't give up. Don't give up.
At least
Come on.
At least go for a whole
okay.
so bad it's
Okay.
good argument.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Come on.
All right.
Come on, man. Do
Well, the
it.
CGI is
Right.
the CGI is not that bad. I think the budget is a whole lot bigger than just purely a TV movie. The acting itself is not that bad. Of course, again, it has Peter Dinklage and Patrick Warburton in it. They really, like you said, they escalate the film, and they don't save it, but they're side characters. It's not really their.
They're the main villains. They're up there with the main characters.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Look-
so you wanna talk about villains, Jacob? You want to talk about villains? Here's
Yes,
my
let's go,
main
yeah.
Achilles heel with Atlantis. The thing that I really found out about it that this is good. So Atlantis killed the Disney villain because Atlantis was the first Disney movie to use the cheap ass oh look, they're revealed as the Disney villain. They're revealed as the villain in the third act. It's not like we get any build up to them being the villain, or it's not like they're intimidating throughout the whole movie. It's just suddenly everyone's a villain. And the problem I really have with this reveal and why that reveal just totally train wrecks the whole movie for me, it really bothers me, is all the characters that were up to this point very likable are suddenly now they have guns, and this is where the Spielberg editing of not having characters have guns would have come into effect, because it's very, very off character for these lovable characters to be pointing guns at our main protagonist, and it's just very off-putting. And like I said, just from this point forward, there was never really a big major like Jafar or Ursula or Scar level Disney villain ever again, because Disney just kept going to the well of we'll just reveal the villain in the third act, guys. I mean, it worked so well in Atlantis.
I don't know if I have a fact check here, or should I allow Jacob to figure it out for himself?
I think you should allow Jacob to figure it out for himself, because
All
that's
right,
my argument.
I'm just saying because I don't know if he gets a fact check or not. So,
Well, considering Home on the Range came out after Atlantis, that kind of turns off your last argument against it killing the Disney villain.
All right, he did fine. Okay, he's good.
Yeah, Home on the Range came out after Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Alameda Slim, he was never meant to be like a scary. That's what I'm talking about with I'm talking about like the great Disney Renaissance, like scary Disney villains. Alameda Slim works well as a funny Disney villain, all right? Like he's certainly not the best, and there's a reason why he's not in all the Disney Rogue Gallery lineups. But he's funny and entertaining and off the wall, and he's got such a memorable gimmick to him that I feel like he really is kind of like an underrated character.
All right, no, but even if you have a funny villain, like, Bowler Hat Guy in the Robinsons was technically a funny villain, but he was still creepy. He was still off-putting. You didn't really, you didn't know what he was thinking.
I'm going to continue. I'm taking advice from last time. I'm going to defend what his Achilles heel, because I honestly thought you had something worse set up for me.
No, but like I said, I honestly think that was the first time Disney used that stupid-ass device, and it was really just kind of like the beginning of the end for the great Disney villains. I think it was kind of the start of a really bad pattern.
Back to my point. Just because he's technically funny...
Hey, hold it, Jacob's got some.
Mother Gothel recently, they broke that trope. I mean, so it's not entirely dead, Tiki. And the fact that these characters do get built up, that they're in for it more than just the exploration. They're in for it for their own selfish gains. Like they openly admit that. And the whole guns thing was immediately thrown away afterwards, and they realized how wrong it was. Achilles heel fixed.
All right, back to Sandy.
As I was saying before, Tiki, even if you have a quote unquote funny villain, that villain should still be threatening in some form or frightening in some form.
Alameda Slim took away Maggie's entire family, okay? That's the whole thing I want to... Like, the story of the Roseanne cow that everyone makes fun of, she is a very tragic Disney character because she fits in the long line of many Disney characters who lost their entire family. The entire herd of cattle is taken away by Slim. That's the scary part about Slim, is that he does get some build-up. When he's revealed and when you do see him, yeah, he's a goofy-ass guy, who's pretty much jokey for the most part, but there is a personal level of vindication with Slim and the main character of the film.
The film itself can just be basically classified as wasted potential. I mean, it has these great actors, including as you mentioned, Roseanne Barr, Judi Dench, Jennifer Tilly, Randy Quaid, and even Cuba Gooding Jr.
I want to talk about Cuba Gooding Jr. because I think Cuba Gooding Jr. actually has a really good role in the film too. And there's a cool kind of anti-hero character, Rico, and Cuba Gooding Jr. has a great arc of kind of like, never meeting your heroes. And that's another really fun story on Home on the Range that doesn't get brought up nearly enough. I also love the rabbit, Lucky Jack, and the goat, Jeb. Those are two really funny kind of like, yin and yang, old, cantankerous characters. This is my whole point with Home on the Range is Home on the Range is just filled with all these personalities that really work well off each other. And it's just got the gorgeous 2D Disney animation going for it.
Yeah. It's a shame that they're wasted on it's wasted on such a hackneyed plot and story. and if you want to talk about good, the character designs are kind of not that great. I mean, not barring the whole Roseanne Barr thing. I mean, like the character designs just don't look.
You want to talk about that terrifying CG creation that is Underdog when it comes to character designs? I mean, I'll admit your movie.
Peter Dinklage makes a great villain.
Your movie is basically all style over substance. Like your movie is kind of like the same thing as Avatar, where it's just like, oh, hey, it's the good guy who gets mixed up with the native culture, and then he has to fight against the group that he's working for. It's, your movie it doesn't have a deep story. It just has cool visuals, and that's all your movie has going for it. And I think really at the end of the day with your movie, that is something that people that people give credit for with your movie is the visuals. So the one thing that your movie should get lifted up on, it does get lifted up for. And so for that reason, I don't even really think Atlantis is that good of a qualifier, where, like I said, Home on the Range is truly something that just, I've pointed out a lot of good examples of like good characters, good dynamics. I'm sorry, go ahead, I'll give you some space.
At least compared to mine, at least compared to yours, mine actually has good visuals in it.
Yeah, but Tiki, Jason Lee,
the backgrounds in that film are downright dreadful. I mean, like, they're nowhere up to the standards of any previous films or after. Like I said, then the designs feel like they're forced to they're trying to be too cartoonish and yet also adhere to a certain style. The
visuals of Home on the Range are a throwback to the old style of like Pecos Bill and stuff like that. It's not supposed to be the most sophisticated looking Disney film.
It doesn't work well for this movie, though.
Why?
It doesn't work well because all the style clashes and everything. I mean, if they would have them more match the background, fine. But the character design, and let's just say that. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering here. The character designs are lacking in that regard. I mean, it doesn't really allow for much personality to be shown in these characters. I mean, sure, you get that from the voices, but it doesn't really allow much for personality or anything to shine. I mean, it's just like the animators are just trying to get through the motions with these characters. And the backgrounds just look like they were half-assed painted, just half-assed and just thrown on there later.
Well, like I said, I think the backgrounds kind of take on a more stylistic, kind of simplistic tone, and that's why they're not... I think it's kind of apples and oranges comparing Atlantis to Home on the Range, because sure, Atlantis is the higher production budget and everything, but at the same time, I think it...
I need to hear. Okay, like you guys are kind of going in circles with that one. So here's what I need to hear.
Yeah, this is kind of. We should probably be wrapping this
up.
All
right, we're almost there. So, okay, I need to hear. To be honest, the last thing I really need to hear. I need any story defense for Atlantis and Underdogs. Any point you want to make of like story superiority from those two films?
Yes, Sandy. Tell me about your super like cookie cutter like family coming together over the pet story. Tell me more. Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
Look at him go.
Come on, Sandy.
We believe in you.
Jason Lee, Tiki. Jason Lee.
God. All right, Jacob.
Atlantis has a well fleshed out and interesting plot. I mean, interesting plot. I mean, some of the highest produced, some of the best action set pieces ever set to Disney animation itself. The story itself is actually a very engrossing and interesting plot involved. Talks about, let's see, about these people thrown into a devastating adventure, and it even had okay, sorry, sorry.
Bless you.
That was a cough, but okay.
Semantics.
The plot is always consistently moving, except for. Well, it's always consistently moving and interesting with engaging, likable characters, and elevates it, and, as I mentioned before, a very creative usage of Atlantis that really hadn't been seen before. Very enriched in its own culture and its own language, and very interesting backstory and lore utilizing both Plato's history and creating their own system of logic, and creating a very interesting backstory with very likable characters and everything.
All right. Oh boy, this is a tough one here. Well, not entirely tough, but it was. It was moderately difficult. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with Jacob. So Jacob, let's see. So I think I was looking over here saying. Okay, so I think Jacob and Tiki probably had the strongest openers. I don't know. Actually, I'm sorry. All you guys had strong openers in very different ways. That's why I'm kind of looking for yours. I think Sandy brought the passion. I think Tiki brought kind of the most kind of like again he kind of came fired up out of the gates. And with Jacob, I think Jacob's was kind of was a well thought out kind of opening statement. So I think you guys had strong opening statements all around, just in different varieties. Let's see. So again, big points to Jacob for kind of subverting Tiki's Achilles heel, and importantly, standing his ground, defending it. Again, citing examples of how, it didn't actually kill off the Disney villain reveal, or even honestly, even kind of ended or like promoted it. It was just something that continue, but never really started it necessarily. Of course, Tiki had a detrimental point against Atlantis with the Avatar point, but at the same time, I think Jacob did kind of find some story footing when the plot was brought about in the other one. So yeah, I think Jacob's on shaky ground to say the least. He's on shaky ground, but he's again, I think he's like the rock hasn't tipped over quite yet for him.
Okay.
Let's see, Sandy. So again, Sandy, I think he started.
You had such passion in the beginning, Sandy.
I was intrigued to see what Sandy was going to do. I really was. Again, the passion. I thought he might be able to.
I mean, I was expecting a whole so bad it's good argument.
Exactly. I was expecting kind of the Hal Rudnick of it all here. I was in a good way. I was expecting classic Rudnick from Sandy, but I didn't quite hear that.
Instead, we got new Rudnick. We got current Rudnick.
Honestly, I mean, I think there were two moments in Sandy's I think kind of set the tone for him.
This was like CG Michael Clark Duncan Rudnick.
Oh God. So let's see. Well, aside from Sandy kind of debating about giving it, we'll give him a pass on that. The two main points, I think, when Jacob had to correct him on the villains not being side characters, that doesn't look good. Doesn't knock him out of the race, but doesn't look good. And the fact that I think Sandy repeated very similar points and ended on, but it's Jason Lee.
I think you guys should have been able to tell I wasn't taking it very seriously from my opening statement.
I just wish you would have tried harder.
And we gave you plenty of options for the movies.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Let's not get into the inside baseball.
Anyways, Tiki with Home on the Range. Let's see. So, let's see. So, Tiki has been citing examples of why it. He definitely showed why it was hated in the opening argument with the whole Doug Walker example. So he definitely kind of covered kind of the fundamentals of the question there in the opening. His opening was very rife with details, and he was fired out of the gate, really covering a lot of bases, taking shots at a few others. So again, it's very honestly, I don't know. I think he might have had the strongest in terms of his approach with the opening statement. And really good opening statements on
Thank you.
Tiki. Well, again, everyone did a decent opening statement. I think Tiki might have just kind of the most in a short amount of time. So points for Tiki on that one. Let's see. So, he defended the Roseanne cow. He defended Maggie. He defended.
If anything else, I wanted to defend the Roseanne cow. Gosh darn it! People give the Roseanne cow so much crap.
I will say this though: I think Tiki hedged a lot of his bets on that Achilles heel argument, which I feel may have been directed at kind of fleshing out kind of more. He broached some story elements, but I really wish he would have focused a little bit more on the animation, on the look. He had a decent defense for it. I'm not going to say he didn't do anything with animation or the plot. I just think he could have been more thorough in those. And again, I think that was just kind of time hedging these bets on the Achilles heel of it all, which I think that might have taken some time away that he could have solidified things. So again, I think Tiki had the passion that Sandy kind of teased us with. I think he kind of really had the passion sewn into the argument instead of just it's on the surface. It's like taped to the argument, like kind of Sandy had. Tape blew off, it's sewn in there. This one's sturdier. Jacob did have some good slugs at Home on the Range with the whole, he attacked the plot a little bit. He's very by the numbers. The debate that you guys had about, the hand-drawn look, but at the same time, Tiki saying it's intentional, but Jacob kind of saved it here when he said, it clashes, basically, it's a clash of styles, and I think that the thing Jacob said I really liked was that it was, took away from the
look, it's hard to argue that Atlantis isn't a better-looking movie than Home on the Range, all right?
Well, no, I'm saying the fact that he tied that into character, that's what I was impressed by. The fact that he said, basically not having kind of that well-developed style, you don't really have that, you basically root for the characters is kind of what he was saying. At least what he was anchoring at, which again, so here's him coming down. I think it's really close between Tiki and Jacob. I do, and honestly, I just feel that I think Jacob dug himself out of some holes impressively, and I think Jacob put up. I think Jacob kind of put up he took my advice in the first round. I think he put up a better defense. So I'm gonna have to give it to Jacob, but it's really close. It's really close.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Good job, Jacob.
Right now it's 1-1 with Jacob and Tiki, and Sandy has an opportunity to get a point in this next round.
Look at him go.
All right.
I know, but Sandy, I'm at least going to the speed round.
Okay. Question number 3. Best Disney attraction post-1969, a.k.a. the Walt era, post the Walt era. Okay, very simply, one thing I want you guys to do, very simply, is just in your opening statements, and this is important, in the opening statements, I guys want you to summarize the attraction. Not everything about it, but just kind of summarize what the attraction's about. So me and the folks at them can get a good bear. I watch the attractions, the POVs and everything. I just want to make sure we have, highlight what, at least to you guys, what it's all about. What's the attraction all about? So again, last time with the phrasing, best Disney attraction post 1969. So just which one is the best attraction over there? Why is one better than the other? And again, summarize it in the opening statements. Go. What do we got? Jacob.
Okay, for my post 69 attraction, I chose Phantasmic.
All right, Phantasmic. All right, Sandy.
I chose Splash Mountain.
Sandman going to Splash Mountain.
I chose the Indiana Jones Adventure Temple of the Forbidden Eye.
Dun, 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 I didn't write it down this time. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, in the adventure. Okay. All right, Jacob, you start off the opening statement.
So I'm supposed to just basically summarize the.
Yes, mainly summarize. Yeah, so any other points you want to make, but you can focus a lot on the summation for the opening.
The show Phantasmic is a water/light show in Disney's Hollywood Studios
At Disney World. I think it's at other locations as well, but
It's also at Disneyland.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, well,
It's at Disney, so we got that established.
Various Disney parks.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
It tells the story of Mickey Mouse, a sorcerer Mickey Mouse who basically falls asleep and goes into a dream where villains invade and take over his dream. Plus, the show is bolstered by impressive music, impressive lights, water, and a very grand, epic orchestral score, tying all together in an epic confrontation between this magnificent dragon you see on the side, and not Blue Dragon 5, but the Maleficent.
They couldn't afford me. They couldn't afford me.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry, Jacob. You have more to say?
I'm going to say Phantasmic. Then basically almost revolutionized the water show at theme parks, and setting a new standard for water shows, animatronics, and light shows all at the same time.
Okay. All right, Sandy.
All right. Well, Splash Mountain is just amazing, okay? The scope is incredible. The animatronics are top-notch, not to mention how many there are throughout the ride, and how many incredible scenes there are. You float through canyons, marvelously sculpted, mind you. There was even a fantastic Ernest P. World TV special called Ernest Goes to Splash Mountain, which aired on the ride's when the ride first opened. Just to add that to the splendor of the Splash Mountain resume, if you will. The whole build of the ride is really calm. It's enjoyable and relaxing. There's so many colors, bold set pieces, design choices, and of course the Song of the South setting and storyline. It's a Fantasyland-style dark ride. That's what it is. But it's a water ride at the same time. A brilliant combination. Plus, it's over 10 minutes long. 10 minutes. That's what I call a bang for your buck. Of course, then it all famously finishes off with a cooling, adrenaline-filled fall back to the ground level. It's the definition of pure Disney theme park. Just magic on any and all levels. It's a complete marvel.
Ooh, strong argument.
Okay. Tiki.
All right, so Indiana Jones Adventure. This is the most theatrical of all the Disney e-tickets, and this is truly what set the game-changing standard for all Disney e-ticket thrill rides to come. The thing that makes this attraction so incredible is you have no idea where the queue stops and the attraction begins. This attraction is so immersive. It's so filled with details. It draws you into a literal Indiana Jones adventure. The plot is 1939 in the middle of a rainforest. Indiana Jones has discovered the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, where legend has it that if you go and you seek out a fortune, it will either tell you your future, give you eternal riches, or I don't know what was the other one. The Fountain of Youth. I'm not explaining this well.
No, you're right. So yeah, it's
yeah. Okay. Point being, Indiana Jones has disappeared into the temple, and so have tourists that have wandered in here. So your job is to seek out Indiana Jones, board your troop transport jeep on an enhanced motion vehicle ride through the perilous Temple of the Forbidden Eye, where you come toe-to-toe with all the famous trappings of the Indiana Jones world, where you'll encounter mummies, snakes, demigods, and, of course, the famous rolling boulder. Indiana Jones Adventure, like I said, set the standard for all Disney thrill rides to come, and it is the most immersive Disney e-ticket experience with a queue that is still yet to be matched.
Okay, we got a really strong bout going here, folks. And without further ado, let's fight it out.
Wait, Dragon the Second Jacob didn't make his opening argument.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he started.
The second one.
There's two Jacobs here now.
Oh, yeah.
And the second one didn't make his opening argument.
No.
I had a
second Jacob, go on.
My computer crashed. All right.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I didn't.
All right, well, Tiki.
I hate second Jacob. I'm going to ignore him. Now he's gone.
What kind of idiot is Indy that is going to let poor tourists wander into this temple where he's trying to fight off mummies and snakes and other weird creatures?
No. Indy is already in the temple, Sandy. Weren't you paying attention? Indy is not signing off on any of this. As a matter of fact, you can blame Sala for letting the people into the temple.
Sala, you jerk.
Which is something that is honestly in Sala's character, to be kind of like, he wants to help, but he's going about it in the wrong way. Like, oh, gee, I'll just sign up on all these. Because keep in mind, Sala's the one doing the safety video in the opening. So
yeah, well, to be fair, we don't know how complicit Indy is, because we know that Indy needs money for an expedition. Sala is helping. It's unclear if Indy signed off on it or not.
No, like I said, Indy is in the middle of the temple in this adventure, and as you're going on this adventure, you're like in the middle of Indy, like as he's dealing with the Temple of the Forbidden Eye and everything. So the whole thing is Indy like in the midst of the expedition.
All right, I'll let it fly.
When I think of Indiana Jones, I don't think of Disneyland. When I think of Disneyland, I think of Splash Mountain. I think of animated rabbits, Fantasyland themed dark rides, and of course.
When I think Disney, oh boy, I think racism.
Okay,
you're not pulling that card. That's.
No.
Okay, here's the thing with Splash Mountain, all right? You mentioned...
This Splash Mountain has nothing to do with racism. That character isn't even involved in this ride.
You mentioned the animatronics, right? And here's the thing with the animatronics, okay? They're all a bunch of, like, creepy, like, Five Nights at Freddy's style, like, animatronics from the 1980s. Half of them don't even work anymore. Go online and watch a POV of Splash Mountain from this year, and you'll see a bunch of animatronics just in a creepy, like, broken down state. Those animatronics just do not hold up at all. And Indiana Jones, there is literally one effect on Indiana Jones, the whole effect of like the ice machine creating the falling rocks, that has not lasted. But over the years, what has been added to Indiana Jones? A whole bunch of new effects, projection mapping. There's the new Temple of Destiny has just been upgraded to feature a real Eye of the, Eye of Mara, where it's more prominent than ever before. Indiana Jones is a template that just keeps getting plussed and plussed and plussed. Whereas Splash Mountain, at one point, I will admit, Splash Mountain was my personal favorite Disney attraction. But I think Splash Mountain has simply kind of gotten into a state of disrepair where it does feature a bunch of kind of like outdated old animatronics. And it's impossible to maintain it all because they're in water 24/7, and that just, to me, kind of like kills the experience a little bit.
Well, Splash Mountain, I think this is the closest we're ever going to come now to experiencing Country Bear Jamboree. I think that shouldn't really have any argument.
Country Bear still exists in Disney World, Sandy.
Yeah,
I know. For Disneyland guests. Not everyone can make it to Disney World, Tiki.
Well, I am going to Disney World in March, so.
Well, lucky you, but not everyone can afford that. Not everyone can make that, have that experience.
I can confirm from the Country Bears thing.
Yeah. All right.
Plus, you can't really argue with the scope and just the whole build and setup, and not to mention the length of the ride and just the whole theme they're going after. Of course, the Song of the South, but again, like it's a Fantasyland dark ride, but that's also a water ride. You know, you take a great ride like Snow White's Scary Adventures or Pinocchio and combine that with the water ride marvel that is Pirates of the Caribbean, and you get this. You get a Fantasyland dark ride water ride, and that's just an excellent combination, excellent tactic on the Disney Imagineers' part.
You know what's also a shame about Splash Mountain? The fact that in the wintertime, it's really just kind of a shame that you can't go on it because it gets you so wet.
You just told me the other day it doesn't get you that wet.
Yeah, well, I didn't say that during the argument, did I?
Okay, so you're basically so what you're doing is you're changing up real facts to fit your argument.
Oh my god! Oh my
That's
god!
what you're doing
Okay.
I mean, you do get splashed on the way down. I mean, you do get wet during the ride.
Yeah, you do.
I've been on Splash Mountain. I mean, you do. It's
not fun to go in the winter time. Okay, look, my whole point with all that is Indiana Jones is a ride that you can experience 24/7. It's a ride that's not going to go down because of the rain. It's a ride that you're not going to it's a ride that you're not going to, that you're going to want to avoid Splash Mountain in cold weather. The fact cannot be said about Indiana Jones.
Jim Varney himself rode on Splash Mountain. That's incredible. Slinky Dog himself.
I don't see how that bolsters your argument.
Yeah, I really don't either. I mean, I'm sure there's been celebrities who have been on.
I just want to point to Jacob's in the corner reading a magazine right now because no one's tackling him.
Okay, Fantasmic Jacob. It's just I don't even see how that counts as an attraction. It's a water show. It's not really an attraction. I mean,
what? How do you define an attraction?
I define an attraction as a ride you stand in line to get on and experience her. A certain level, a certain period of time. With Fantasmic, it's so hard to get good seats. I mean, I'm going to be going to Disneyland in October. I don't even know if I'll be able to see it because I don't even know how all that stuff even how I'm going to be able to get some good seats. I want to see it. I definitely do. But just the whole
here's how about the whole attraction thing. A thing or place that draws visitors by providing something of interest or pleasure. So by that logic, Fantasmic does qualify as an attraction.
Now, I will second Sandy on the whole crowd control thing because from what I've heard, it has gotten easier, but it still doesn't change the fact that, especially at Disneyland, you've got the whole Rivers of America area, which is supposed to be like kind of like a quiet riverfront at night, and instead it's kind of like controlled chaos and this crowd control nightmare, and
exactly.
it makes it impossible to get to stuff like Haunted Mansion. It makes
Pirates of the Caribbean,
like,
two of the best rides in the entire park.
Right. So I think
the one I'm talking about is my personal experience though at Disney World, which it's entirely in a separate area at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, and your version has an outdated scene that takes up like a third of the whole show based on Pocahontas, and who wants to sit through that?
Honestly,
It actually didn't it didn't take up a third of the show. It actually didn't take up that much space. It was there, and then
it's Pocahontas. It drags, and it shouldn't be a main. Like they should have replaced that segment long ago. That's my whole point.
Anyways, guys, I think with stuff like Splash Mountain or even Indiana Jones, I'm not trying to defend Indiana Jones, but even with that, you have all customers of the park are able to enjoy that and experience that, even if they have to wait in a lengthy line, which is the case for most Disney rides. You have every customer, every park goer gets to experience the same thing, no questions asked. With Fantasmic, it's always, am I going to get there in time? Will I be able to get a good view of what's going on? It just doesn't make much sense.
That's another thing with Fantasmic is Fantasmic also has like there's good seats and there's bad seats, and I think that's true also in Disney World. Like the center seats are the good seats, but then like off to the side, you're kind of like the action can be a little bit obscured. Whereas in Indiana Jones, you're literally put into the heart of the action.
I was actually on one of the side seats, and I could see the entire show just fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a rare occasion, though. I mean, not everyone gets perfect seats like they would on Splash Mountain or Indiana Jones.
Here's the thing with Fantasmic that's weird is that I feel like the seating area is better in Disney World. Like, the seating situation is a lot better, but the show itself is weaker. And then with Disneyland, you have, like, the classic original version of the show, which has, like, the whole, Tom Sawyer Island transforming before your eyes and everything, and that whole wow factor. And I think at the end of the day, it is a much better version of the show than the Disneyland version, but it does have a crowd control situation. So at the end of the day, both versions of Fantasmic really do have pros and cons that kind of outweigh each other.
With Splash Mountain, I feel like with Indiana Jones, you may be transported to a different world, but it's still the same. It's the real world. With Splash Mountain, same with any really Fantasyland rides. Dark Rides, it transports you to this whole different world, almost like like Toontown, where everything it's incredibly stylized, marvelously sculpted. It just takes you to this whole new place. It takes you to these different levels of the building, which each one is more amazing than the last. The scenes are spectacular, even if some of the animatronics don't work. It's no reason to not go on the ride or not think highly of it. It is a marvel of a ride, and it's honestly, I think it holds competition up to the Matterhorn quite well.
All right, Jacob, I need to hear why Fantasmic's better than the other two.
Well, Fantasmic it puts on does what the others do as well. Indiana Jones does what it puts on a grand show. It keeps people entertained for 30 minutes with a grand show, with a grand light show, grand action. It sets standards for all kinds of theme park entertainment.
If I want a light show, I'm just going to go to the fireworks.
The show actually does have fireworks.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to the main fireworks, whatever I don't need to wait and
the fireworks
crowded by a bunch of sweaty California people who are baking in the heat, trying to watch Mickey fight off this dragon with some little pixie dust.
The dragon that, might I add, doesn't even work half the time.
All right, I need to hear why the Indiana Jones adventure is not so cool. What's wrong with that? I mean, guys, I'm not hearing anything against Indy right now.
The Indiana Jones adventure, that's definitely cool, but again, it's just I feel like with when you go park goers, with Splash Mountain, you're going and people see. They'll go in home and they'll watch Song of the South, and then they'll go to the.
No, they won't.
How could they watch Song of the South? It's never been released.
I hope they don't watch Song of the South.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna use Alice because it's the same logic.
Oh man.
They'll go home. They'll be at home. They'll watch Alice, and they'll go to the park, and they'll experience what's
the difference between that and watching the beloved Indiana Jones trilogy and then stepping into the classic Steven Spielberg world of Indiana Jones?
Hey, tell me you're going somewhere with this. I'm not hearing.
People are faced with a giant, really amateur-looking snake in the it's. I just don't think that Indiana Jones I don't think it holds up. I think it's one of those.
Like I said, Indiana Jones is all about the overall experience. It's all about the queue driving you into the queue tells the story, and the queue is as much a part of the attraction as the ride itself.
Right,
and that's the revolutionary part of the attraction.
Sandy, why does it hold up?
Okay, well, the Indiana Jones adventure, it's like Star Wars. It's something Disney bought and has the rights to, but it's not Disney. Disney didn't make it.
Yeah, that doesn't make it any more or less good of an attraction.
But for me, it doesn't make it feel like Disney. It makes it just feel like something Disney took and just making money off of.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, go ahead, Jacob.
Jacob, you have anything against Indy?
The ride itself has been kind of out of its way for a while. I mean,
have you been on the updated version of it, Jacob, with the new projection mapping effects and everything? I think that's gone a long way.
Projections. That's all parks are filled with these days.
Sandy. Disney does projections really well because Disney blends projections with live action sets. Okay, Disney does it a lot more tastefully than Universal does. I've seen it firsthand.
With Splash Mountain, everything's right there before your eyes.
Like I said, Splash Mountain, half the attractions are broken down and they're creepy, 80s 5 Nights at Freddy's style animatronics.
Okay, well, with Splash Mountain, it's everything's right there before your eyes. You
Like I said, Splash Mountain, half the attractions are broken down and they're creepy, 80s 5 Nights at Freddy's style animatronics. And they're borrowed from America Sings, by the way, so the whole thing is kind of like a hodgepodge, like a weird, like, you know, I don't know. It's.
You think you think the everyday park goer is gonna know? Oh, that I know those characters from America Sings. You know, oh, I wonder what that even is.
No, but I do think the every.
Okay.
Good one.
Yeah.
All right, good round, guys. Good round. Okay, here's where I'm coming down. Okay, let's go around here. Jacob, Fantasmic. Good pick. Good pick. I watched that. Actually, really, I enjoyed the rewatch of all these, by the way, on the POVs and everything. Of course, memories as well for some.
Did you watch a video of the queue for Indie Dragon? Because that's kind of important.
Yes,
okay,
I've seen. Don't you think I'm thorough?
Okay. Just making sure.
Anyway, Fantasmic. So Fantasmic again. I think Jacob had a solid opening for Fantasmic and kind of highlighting all the great stuff of that show. Problem, he reiterated it over and over again. I didn't hear anything like new with Fantasmic, and there were some shots taken against it, and I didn't really hear anything coming back from that. So again, strong opener. Again, it's kind of put me in the match. Basically, it's kind of doing what Sandy's trying to do, and I liked it for that reason. Again, he's kind of put me in the headspace, kind of the Disney magic and all there. And I wish he would have, kept that and kind of hammered that on. It might have kind of blown Sandy out of the water. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Jacobs.
Yeah.
Going to Sandy with Splash Mountain, of course. Yep. What?
I was just saying. I was just agreeing with you.
Sure. Okay, on to Sandy. Now, Sandy. Of course, Sandy had a very solid pick, Splash Mountain, very kind of Americana with the mouse, if you will, very kind of hallmark of Disney. He went with the. He went with kind of the scope. I like they highlighted the scope and the animatronics and the sheer number of animatronics. Again, he got a very solid opener. Again, very solid openings for everyone. Again, very diverse. Again, we're getting really better at the openings. I've noticed with you guys this episode. Better with the openings. Let's see. So. Let's see. I think Sandy started some really good points. I really wish he went more in depth with them because I want to say that Sandy, he was hitting upon something while Tiki was kind of getting into kind of why Indy is the best one, where he's why Tiki's getting into defending Indiana Jones and saying why it's not outdated. I feel Sandy was hitting a point when that was brought up where it's like, hey, this is like. Those are IPs that were bought, and they're not necessarily kind of Disney from the ground up. This is, and it's the fact that it doesn't have projection screens and it doesn't have projection systems and everything in there. And again, I think those were interesting notes to hit, but I think they were hit a little too late. And I would have liked this to fundamentally be about the argument because for a while I think you kind of just sat there with it. And it was like, okay, you just kind of said all you had to say about Splash Mountain, but those points were good, but again, not thorough enough to really get enough in there. So I think Sandy's got some decent fundamentals there. I think there's enough there that Sandy's definitely in the running for this. I think this one is really between Sandy and Tiki. So speaking of which, Tiki. So again, solid opening again. Same old. There's really good solid opening again. Most theatrical. Really good walkthrough on the ride for all of you. Again, you all give good walkthrough of the ride. Honestly, where I'm coming down on it here with the negatives on Tiki is that there were very little because as much as I cried and I prodded, no one for the longest time no one was saying anything negative about Indy.
Because everyone loves Indiana Jones. He's a national treasure. That's
what I'm saying, and literal treasure. And here's the thing: Tiki had some good shots against everyone else, especially the crowd thing, which Sandy started. Sandy started the crowd thing. Tiki was piling on a little bit of teamwork there. Tiki did have there were some great kind of moments of awe in these kind of points brought up. I want to say like a moment of pause where you have to think about it for a second. Where Tiki had that great point about the winter. I really loved, which it's like it didn't occur to me. I was like, gosh darn, I think he's right. I never thought of that.
Can I just say I love Splash Mountain in the winter because it has 5-minute wait times and it's beautiful.
So with that said, again, I think it was really between Sandy and Tiki. I just think there was so little said against Indiana Jones. I mean, the worst thing said about it was that it had a bad-looking snake for a part of it,
which I will fully admit to. That snake looks like crap. They need to update it.
And that's the thing. The fact that there are mentions that it's been updated, the projection systems and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's a chance down the line the snake will be fixed for all we know. So the point is, for the least bad stuff against India, as much as I prodded you guys, and Tiki gets it.
All right.
But Sandy was close.
So, Sandy, I want to point out you were really close on 2 of these arguments here, so you did a good job overall.
Well, thank you.
All right. But, alas, so no
It's
purple
Tiki.
rock of death this time, Dragon.
Never again.
All right. So it's me versus Jacob. I have 1 point going up against him, 2-1. Speed round. Dragon, want to explain the speed round?
Very simple.
Dragon, first of all, do you want me to co-judge with these?
I mean, I'd like you to if you do.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to. I'm just saying, if you need to be somewhere, I mean, I can control it without you. If you'd like to stick around, by all means.
Oh yeah, I'd like to stick around. I'll be right back though. Okay, it'll be like 5 minutes.
Oh. Yep. Okay, I guess I'm not so for a first couple, but okay.
Carry on, John.
All right. Tell me when you come back, and he's gone. Okay.
Go ahead, Dragon.
Okay, folks. Very simple. The speed round. It's kind of the sandwich. We've been kind of the Oreo of justice, if you will. Kind of the we got the 30, 15, 30.
Okay.
30-second opener, 15-second rebuttal, 30-second closer. Of course, you're working like a little extra kind of closer, a little extra. We use the time as you see fit, but that's kind of how it goes. 30, 15, 30. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, whoever speaks first has to go first. And of course, if we reach a tie, it's they're 5. Let's see. Right now, it's Tiki has 2, Jacob has 1, and 5 questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, first question. Again, guys, now you're gonna listen to the end of when I'm gonna say for a lot of the majority of these speed round questions, and they're tough. They are very reflex heavy. So like the minute I finish saying what the 2 options are, you guys are gonna have to pick because you're really gonna want to pick between these 2. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So listen carefully. Okay. Question number 1. Should the upcoming, it's not immediate upcoming as much as we'd like, but when the Mickey Mouse movie is made? That line. Should the Mickey Mouse movie be hand-drawn or CG?
Hand-drawn.
CG.
Jacob's got Tiki, CG. Okay.
Hold on, Sandy, are you back? I guess not. Okay. All right. So Dragon, or Jacob, I'm sorry, 30-second opening statement.
Okay. I think this movie should be hand drawn. I mean, sure Mickey hasn't been adapted into 3D, but have you seen the results? It doesn't really look that good. It has a way to experiment with different 2D animation styles, and as a whole, bring back 2D animation to the Walt Disney Animation Studios, other than the blend of Paperman, other than like the blend of the Meanders. I think it would be be very well way to reintroduce one of the most beloved characters in cinema, and animation in general.
Yeah, I just think that I used to be a big component to 2D, but I think there's a reason why Disney has kind of stuck to doing 3D, and that's because it gives you more options and it gives you more ways to tell a story. And Jacob, it's funny that you bring up Paperman, because that's exactly what I would want to see a Mickey Mouse cartoon, a Mickey Mouse movie look like, is kind of like, like sort of something that's in the style of 2D Mickey, but with more of a theatricality, more of a new school shine to it.
I disagree with you on the whole. I guess I don't think the CG is the only way to have limits options. I think that the talents of the 2D animators nowadays around the world, there's all kinds of options ready at the hand for pen and paper.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing that gets done in just pen and paper anymore, buddy. Forget about that. Even if it is 2D, there's going to be plenty of CG mixed into the 2D. The days of pen and paper animation, it's just, by a logistics point of view, it's over.
Yeah, one thing I want to clarify real quick, just with the 2D, I mean, that also, it's in the hand-drawn style, so it's not just, like pencil and paper. It's just as long as it looks like that. So I'm talking about the stuff we get in Atlantis.
I get it.
Just want to clarify that for the folks at home. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I mean, like 2D.
Okay,
like,
okay.
Like even like including stuff like Toon Boom and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it'd be a glorious return to 2D animation. Show that Disney has still got it. I mean, people have been pining for a 2D animated movie for years, and what better way than to use one of their most bankable stars? This animation. I mean, the only country really doing 2D animation. As far as CG goes, some of the soul would be lost in it. It just Mickey feels more at home in 2D.
You know, just recently we saw with Get a Horse how wonderfully and creatively CG can be used to draw Mickey Mouse into storytelling potential that simply can't be done with just 2D. And that's really where I think the 3D would kind of come into effect, because the benefit of having a 3D Mickey Mouse is you can tell all the different kind of, you know, varieties of, like, it'd be kind of like a Lego movie of different eras of Mickey, and you could have all that through the 3D technology.
Okay, let's see, Jacob. Sandy, you're not back, are you?
Darn it, where is he?
Don't say anything if you're not back.
But that's not going to help.
All right.
That's kind of the point of why I said that.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay, Jacob. Here's what I'm coming down on you here. I think I think you started strong. I think the Paperman stuff. To be fair, you both kind of cited Paperman, so I'm not really going to count that for much. You both get into kind of similar point. Again, that's my 2 cents on it as well. The Paperman style, man. That's short for a reason. Darn it. Anyway. So again, like basically what Jacob was kind of saying with his arguments, it's kind of the big return to 2D. It could be kind of, you could shepherd in 2D back at the hand drawn style at Disney, back in style with their flagship star, taking him back to his 2-dimensional roots, in a way. And the fact that he said the only option would not be CG. And I think there's some credence to that. So I think Jacob had a solid thing. I did notice he did flounder towards the closing statement. I think those seconds might have served him better. Tiki with the CG argument. I think Tiki started. He made some very, very excellent minimal points, and minimal in a good way. I mean, minimal that he filled his time with just the right stuff. I felt the thing that clinched it for me with the CG argument. I didn't think I was going to have to vote this way, to be honest with you. But the Get a Horse example, I'm impressed Tiki made the Get the Horse example. Like the fact we have these options, basically proving that we have more options with CG than hand drawn. I mean, I don't know, maybe had Jacob cite a few more things you could have done in hand drawn. I don't know, but the point is that the Get a Horse example, it clinched it. I'm voting Tiki on.
I forgot about Get a Horse.
And Get a Horse again. It got him. Yep, that's where I'm going. So Tiki right now is 3 points.
3-1. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I'm
Next
on
question.
now.
Oh, Sandy, there you go. Well, did you hear any of the argument?
No.
Well, it's too late. So
It's too late.
Right. Okay, here's a fun one. You two guys are going to love this.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Okay. Which Muppet?
Oh, man.
Which Muppet would make the best Joker? They are casting.
Oh God. Oh.
Now, I wanted to clarify this being a live action film, but whether Batman be included or not, I won't say. But let's just say it's a live action film. Joker be the only Muppet character.
Oh God. Oh God. Swedish Chef.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. Shoot. You know what? I'm going to go with Kermit.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
You want to lock it in?
Yes, I'm going to lock in Kermit.
Tiki, be careful now.
Right, Tiki is locking in Kermit, and he's going to have to go first. Jacob, you are with us, right? You don't have an audio issue. You're there, right?
I'm thinking.
Okay, I'm just clarifying, just making sure. We had some doppelgangers earlier on. It's like Doppel Bruce. You have a few of them.
Oh, God.
I'm teetering between three right now. I know. I had to make it quick.
For the folks at home, the question is, which Muppet would make the best Joker? Because Joker's being cast now, at least we hear he's being cast now for a possible Elseworlds type film for DC.
Leo.
Leo would be an impressive casting choice if DC can clinch him, if they can sign him on, because he's in talks.
Oh, I know. I have mine. Oh man.
After Jacob picks his, Sandy will share his, just so we can have it for giggles. I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I have to be quick. I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, I have mine. Can I share it?
Not now.
Oh, okay.
You're casting, boy.
There you go. What was your Tiki? I'm sorry.
It's Kermit.
Well, then I think. Okay, this is the one I'm kind of leaning towards. I'll go with Constantine the Frog.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm amazed. Okay, Sandy, the folks at home with you, who you would have picked?
New Zealand.
It's not bad. I'm amazed, Tiki. I'm amazed you didn't pick Gonzo. I was hedging my bets on you picking Gonzo.
That was actually my other choice.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
Right.
I think New Zealand made a great Joker.
Okay.
I really do.
So.
Too late to change mine, so I think I'll stick with my guts.
So a lot of the Muppet stuff would be kind of like joke casting, right? And that was kind of my struggle here. And then I realized what would be the scary, because that's what you want with the Joker, is you want someone who can be genuinely scary. What would be the scariest thing? That would be seeing America's beloved icon, Kermit the Frog, turning in like a Robin Williams in 1 hour photo style performance as the Joker. We're talking Kermit in a light that we've never seen him before and really stretching his acting muscles and delivering something truly scary.
Though I admit the film didn't actually show this potential, Constantine himself does have the potential to be pretty scary if utilized properly. A very formidable foe against the Muppets, always being one step ahead, and constantly being a very smart villain against the Muppets. And he's always been his plan is always one step ahead, even though he relies on his villain. Like the Joker, he has villains, and I'm sorry, my stutter.
Look, I think at the end of the day, like between Kermit and Constantine, Kermit would be the casting choice that would be more interesting, right? Like Constantine, it's like, oh yeah, it's like the funny bad guy Muppet playing the funny bad guy character. But Kermit, you're just like, wait, Kermit is Joker? How's that going to turn out?
Exactly. I mean, I think Kermit wouldn't be that good of a. I mean, wouldn't be it's really. Admittedly, he's an interesting choice, but it's not within Kermit's range to exactly be scary. I mean, Constantine has proven that he can be a legitimate threat at times and be humorous as well, just like the Joker.
Okay, we were talking earlier about like Muppets that deserve Oscar nominations, right? Like that was a question that got brought up, and I think this is the perfect thing for Kermit to do for his career, because he's kind of stuck in a rut right now. Everyone just knows him as like the vanilla good guy Muppet. He doesn't really kind of have the acting range as other Muppets, and this would just change it, especially if you want the Heath Ledger method route. Could you imagine a dedicated Kermit delivering a huge Oscar-worthy scary performance?
You see, that's the thing, though. I mean, it'd be kind of hard. It's kind of hard to believe Kermit as that. It'd be kind of hard from, especially considering his entire history, even in like the various Halloween stuff and various stories. It'd be kind of he's never really been able to pull off scary. I mean, that's the thing. He's limited by his vanilla status. He won't be able to. He's never been able to show he can pull that off convincingly. Constantine, on the other hand, he can be funny, endearing, and also genuinely terrifying.
Sandy, how you feeling about this one?
Oh man, I think the option seems pretty obvious to me. I just lean way more towards Kermit just because Constantine already has that, not like Joker reputation going for him, but just he already has that, arch villain reputation going for him, and Kermit doesn't. I think it'd be really interesting to see Kermit take on a role that he's never had a chance to take on before. I think that'd get people in the seats. I think that'd make for a really interesting story, and it makes you wonder, okay, like Tiki said, it's going to make you wonder, okay, how is this going to turn out? We all want to see Kermit win, but if he's faced with a position like this, it's kind of a bittersweet. So I think it's a really interesting choice and really interesting mix.
It's really a question of potential versus something that's been kind of proven, and we've seen Constantine as a villain. He's got he's funny and dangerous. He's got kind of the charisma of Joker. But at the same time, Kermit, again, we're hedging a lot of bets on some interesting potential with Kermit. That yes, it would be interesting. We'd get a lot of buzz. It would be kind of the Robin Williams effect, as Tiki's saying, and we have kind of the Oscar deserver, the guy who deserves the Oscar might be able to get it again, kind of in the DiCaprio position in a way. And get him out of his rut. So again, Tiki's making some good points. At the same time, again, we're seeing evidence with Jacobs. It's a hard call. Jacob did make a point that it's hard to believe to see Kermit as scary, where we have seen Constantine as well more intimidating, and he's making the argument Kermit can't pull off scary. Let me ask this of you. Do you think Kermit can pull off scary? Do you think it? Not based on what Tiki said.
I personally think Kermit could pull off scary, yes. Maybe not. I don't think he could pull off like, Michael Myers scary, but I think he could pull off that, just kind of joking around, but he also has this really dangerous and threatening reputation where it's just kind of lurking there next to him, just like the Joker does.
All right, it's really close. So I'm gonna have to. I'm really intrigued by Kermit the Frog playing Joker. So I'm gonna have to give it the Tiki. So Jacob has a. Let me see. Yeah, Jacob has a chance still.
He needs to get all three of the next ones. Yeah.
Jacob gets all three, then it'll be a tie, and we get the break glass question.
I thought I did pretty good. I thought I did pretty good considering. I mean, I didn't have anything to begin with, and when Tiki brought up his, I counteracted those.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay. Next question. This is a favorite. The one that get in the last one, but we kind of were preempted. So, it ended early, I should say. Okay. Which animated sequel should Mark Hamill do a voice in? Incredibles 2 or Wreck-It Ralph 2?
Incredibles 2.
All right, Tiki's got Incredibles, which means Jacob has Wreck-It Ralph.
I guess I can do Wreck-It Ralph.
Jacob Ralph. Okay, Tiki, when you're ready.
So let me pitch you Mark Hamill's role in Incredibles 2. He is going to be the best superhero ever, and he's going to be such a good hero that it's going to completely overshadow Mr. Incredible's reputation. And that in itself is going to make him a personal antagonist. And so the gag is that Mark Hamill is totally playing against type of like, oh, Mark Hamill's totally going to play the Joker. That's predictable. No, Mark Hamill is playing such a good guy that it makes him a personal threat to Mr. Incredible.
Ooh.
Hey. Let me think here. I mean, I could go do the whole obvious route of Mark Hamill voicing, reprising his role as Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, but that's kind of considering Wreck-It Ralph has confirmed that there will be Star Wars characters in Wreck-It Ralph 2. So, but I honestly think he'd make an interesting character otherwise as well. I mean he could. Stupid allergies. He could play.
Give him 5 more seconds.
10
more seconds. Go ahead, Jacob.
All right. I think he'd be an interesting choice to play another character like aside Ralph as well. I mean,
Okay. Sorry, Jacob. I feel for you with the allergies. I'm sorry about that.
Fine.
Okay. Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph is, it's interesting, and I'm sure Mark Hamill, but like I said, it's just like, it's kind of like the cool niche, like, oh, Mark Hamill, the comic book bad guy, playing such a good superhero. It's just such a fun casting thing.
Admittedly, it is good casting, but it would kind of go against Mr. Incredible's character. I mean, I don't think there were other characters who are arguably he was good as he was, but he didn't actually antagonize them. He was good friends with them, and anything, he'd be friends with this character. He wouldn't be a personal antagonist or anything.
Have you ever heard of the Woody arc from Toy Story? It'd be kind of in that sort of vein. It's like Mr. Incredible is always used to being, like this guy we're talking, he's so good that he's kind of like the new vein of superheroes, right? So it would kind of almost be like a Tony Stark
15 seconds.
No, it's 30, Jacob. It's less.
Okay.
Never mind.
Can I redo it?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's fine. Let me redo my argument because you just okay. So yeah, it totally be what I'm going for here is that Mr. Incredible would be like the Christopher Reeve Superman, right? Whereas this guy would be sort of like the Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. This guy would absolutely be sort of like the new generation, kind of like charismatic, super cool kind of superhero, whereas Mr. Incredible would be kind of like rooted in the past. That's all I got to say. That's it.
Again, I apologize for that. I thought it was still a speed run.
Don't worry about it, Jacob.
Sorry, I was seeing the 30 pass. I was eager.
I'm sorry. Again, I apologize for that.
Okay, so Jacob, go for the final statement.
Yeah, I'm preparing myself.
Okay.
I think giving Mark Hamill a role that's like a side Ralph is like, even if it's just like a little cameo, it could be he could be like another character who relates to Ralph in an interesting way. Like he could, in addition to being the guide, I mean, he could be like someone there. He could be who's revealed to actually not revealed to actually, but is actually hinted at. He can actually use the whole villain thing, like the obvious villain, but nobody realizes it. Like to actually show him the wonders, but actually show him the terrors of the internet online as well.
Okay, Sandy, how you feel about this one?
I just feel Tiki was I think Tiki just explained it a lot better. I loved his opening pitch. Just man, I wish that's what they were using for the Incredible sequence. I really do, because I'm just picturing that. It just seems, oh man. So I'm just imagining,
hey, Mr. Incredible, I'm such a nice guy, aren't I? Don't I just totally not make you jealous at all?
I'm picturing just, at the end, at the end of the first Incredibles film with the Underminer, I'm just imagining them about to save the day, but then he comes in and takes the Underminer out, and that just being his introduction. I think this would be like perfect. Oh, yes. I just feel, Jacob, I feel you didn't explain your character enough. You didn't really give him much of a story.
I don't even think Jacob really landed on a character.
All I really got was just this side character played by Mark Hamill, and I honestly that's why I'm leaning towards Tiki's here. That's what I'd have to go with.
All right, so let me say this. So first of all, again, just want to make sure we're not throwing him on the bus for any untoward reasons here. Jacob, he didn't need to have a pitch. Tiki did, and that helped him because it details that kind of like how all the potential Mark Hamill could have. Where again, Jacob still, I think towards the end of he was starting to get in a direction where he could still, where he still could have won with that. Where the whole, it's like kind of he bumps into a character. We don't know because he doesn't know all the likenesses that Disney has for video game characters or whatnot. But the idea of a fun cameos, the sheer talent Mark Hamill kind of has that could definitely kind of flesh out kind of. Basically, just Mark Hamill's, as a voice actor, instead of just as an iconic voice that we all know of, because he has done voice work in various other things. He's been in How to Train Your Dragon. He's been in of course, Futurama, and then the Time Squad. There's a whole slew of things. The one I'm thinking of right now is kind of Oh, it's regular show. That's the one. He says right. Anyway, so the idea of like a villain that Mark Hamill was known for playing is kind of meeting a villain. So again, I think he's still in the framework. So it wasn't like coming out with like one specific kind of like villain or character having a whole thought out picture thing on the fly. It's just how you could best serve a Mark Hamill voice in the movie. Now, honestly, I feel Jacob's opening statement sucked. I really do. It just I'm sorry, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I understand the circumstance, but it was awful. It was just.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't really catch on anything that was, terrible.
No, well, I mean, it was nothing. It was like no one showed up. That's sort of bad. But again, I think the ending improved, but I just feel the opening has really killed him. Sorry, but it did. Your opening kind of shot you. You bled out.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, because of that, I shouldn't say unfortunately. I'm sorry. I'm just saying that we have to end now, but there's no way Jim can come back for that, unfortunately. So, looks like Tiki is our winner with 5 points.
Yeah, I think I pretty solidly crushed that one. Thank you, guys.
At least I tried.
He did. And again, Jacob put up a heck of a fight for all of these. I want to say.
As did Sandy. I think Sandy came really close on a couple of these rounds, too.
Well,
it really could have gone.
Sandy earned the crumb of the cookies.
God.
Like I
But
said,
they were good crumb.
What I mean to say is at least I tried from the speed round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Dragon, in the words of Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan, do you think it's fair to say that Sandy earned it?
Yeah, sure, Sandy. Listen to me. You earned it.
Well, thank you.
Jacob and Dragon, do you want to hype up the next Disney KO?
Oh, heck yeah. I can do it. The next Disney KO has an interesting theme: cops and robbers.
Oh yeah.
Should I go into more detail?
If you want.
Depending on the structure and how many contestants we have, the first round will be each person will pick their group of villains. They'll pick a villain, and all compete to steal a precious item. It's basically villain heist. The second, hold on, sorry, I haven't. Sorry, apparently I moved my documents around. I'm sorry.
I know what that feels like. It's fine.
Well, the second round is the heroes, right? It's the
pursuit. It's the cop going after the criminal. That's
what it is. I'm sorry, I got kind of flustered.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, and also, guys, we will be starting next week with Fantasia Month, where we will be doing a retrospectives on all things Fantasia, including full-length podcast review analytical discussions on Fantasia 2000, the Nicolas Cage Sorcerer's Apprentice movie, a pitch for a Fantasia 3, as well as a grab bag discussion on a multitude of different music-themed Disney shorts. So join us for that. Dragon, any last words with the Disney debates to go out on? Take us out on a catchy zinger.
We came, we saw. We did a relatively good job.
All right, see you guys later.
Works for me.
What can I say except you're welcome?